Get ready to raise a glass and hit the dance floor because Gold Coast-based country rocker Brook Chivell's latest track, Drink Around Here, that you heard a few seconds ago, is set to deliver a powerful dose of good times and classic country vibes with a modern twist. A songwriter at heart, Brook loves to search for the melody, the hook and the soul of the song and delivers a vocal performance that is both powerful and passionate. Brook, who is known for his powerhouse vocals and high-energy performance, has definitely made his mark on the Australian country rock scene with his signature sound that blends country twang with modern rock production. His newest single marks the fourth release in his ambitious plan to drop a new song every month in 2025 as he continues to captivate listeners worldwide. Brook grew up with a strong country music influence, cutting his teeth on his father's record collection that included Hank Sr., Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings, as well as his own hard rock influences. His long-standing tenure in Melbourne's live music scene prior to his move up north, contributed to Brook's unique sound, producing modern country music that sits just as well in the Australian country scene as it does in America. There can be no doubt that Brook has well and truly established himself as a bona fide tour de force in the Australian country music scene, so it's no surprise that he's become one of our most successful country artists. I've had the privilege of chatting on the phone with Brook 6 times previously, which is by no means a bad thing, but it's actually been a minute since the last time we spoke back in April of 23, so I'm absolutely delighted to be able to catch up with him again today and bring him on air right now. Hello, Brook, how are you?
G'day, mate. How you going?
Yeah, good. Yourself?
Oh, pretty good, thank you.
That's a shot. Good to hear. Okay, I had someone trying to ring me just while I'm on air. Anyway. Welcome to Community Radio. You got to love it. Okay, look, welcome once again to the Country Club. It's always great to have you on the show, mate, but I didn't realise that it's been a good long while since our last chat on The Blower, so I'm glad to be able to catch up with you today. And
yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, one or two.
Yeah.
But anyway, better late than never, I guess. Tell us the story behind your latest outstanding single, Drink Around Here. This is a great song. I love it, but I've said that so many times when I've interviewed you because you always put out good stuff. But this song is great, Drink Around Here. Did you write?
Thanks. I mean, yeah, I wrote it. I was just kind of trying to write something that was a bit, I like to write party stuff. Obviously, that's my vibe. But I wanted to write something that was a little bit, well, honestly, I didn't try and write it. It just came out.
Okay.
And I was just, as always with me, like at most 90% of my songs start with me fiddling around on guitar.
Okay.
So the guitar part was the first thing that happened. And then I'm like, oh, this has kind of got an old school country vibe, which is cool. What can I write about? And I was like, well, my dog's still here, so I'm not going to write about that. And my girlfriend hasn't left me, so I can't write about that. What else is left? Let's write about drinking. And to be honest, it's a little bit of a tip of the hat to it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Okay.
Really, that was my idea was like, we're kind of we're in a bit of a time warp, and it's you drink every day. It was just that kind of idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that pretty much explains. That's it. Look, I think that some of the best songs ever written were done off the cuff, just like you've explained about this song. So many times it's just an idea comes into your head and bang, a song's born.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they come really quickly. This one was pretty quick as well. I didn't really take that long to write. To be honest, I had the idea. The first 2 lines of the chorus had been written in another songwrite that I did with Natalie Pearson, Jake Sinclair, and Luke Austin.
Okay.
And Nat, I was playing this riff thing, and Nat came up with, what about if we did margaritas on Monday, tequila on Tuesday?
Okay.
And the other guy's like, nah. And I went, I really like that. So I put it in my phone and just kind of sat on it for quite a while.
Okay.
And when I wrote that piece of music, I was like, oh, that'll really go with that thing. So yeah, Nat gets a songwriting credit on that because she came up with those first two lines of the chorus.
Oh, okay, right. Fair enough. I'm interested that you mentioned Natalie Pearson. You seem to have well, at least a working relationship with her. It's not the first time you've collaborated with her. I remember you put out a song a while ago. I wonder
What You Kiss Like.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
A great song, and what a great duo. So, and that was a while ago. So obviously, that collaboration or that collaborative process has continued with Natalie. What's the relationship there?
Well, we do a bunch of duo like weddings and stuff on the Gold Coast.
Okay.
She's my business partner, I guess, up here.
All right.
And she's obviously an amazing singer, and she's a good songwriter as well. So. It's pretty easy to collaborate with her because we're so comfortable with each other from, playing so many gigs. So it just comes together really easily.
Okay. All right, fair enough. She is a great singer. I've got a lot of time for her. She's, if I had to collaborate with someone, it'd certainly be someone like Natalie,
Yeah, yeah.
All righty. So just want to explore a couple of things with you. I mean, you explained the song, and that's great. But why country music? I mean, in the intro that I read out, you've got a lot of hard rock influences, and that comes through with a lot of your stuff, and I do like that because I think country and rock is a marriage made in heaven. But it's just why did you go, or how did you manage to go from like hard rock to country or country rock?
Well, I was actually in a hard rock band writing hard rock songs,
right,
with some mates in Victoria, in Melbourne, and every time I brought in a song that I'd written by myself, I'd play it. They'd say, "Oh, that's a great song. We can't use it though," and I'd be like, "Why not?" And they'd say, "It's country music. That's not." And this is when country wasn't cool. Like this,
right.
2006, 2007, when if you mention country in Melbourne, they'd say, "Country? What? Like, look, Dusty."
Are you nuts?
That's what I would get. It would be like it was the uncoolest thing.
Yeah.
And it was just my dad listening to music coming out in me like over and over and over again.
Right.
Because I always search for those kind of melodies and those kind of hooks just kind of came out through my subconscious when I was writing.
Right.
So
okay.
In the end, I think in 2009, I thought, oh well, bugger it, I'm just going to lean into it.
Fair enough.
So I did. I just thought, even though it wasn't necessarily the coolest thing, I just didn't care. I've never really been about, what's cool and what can I do to try and get famous. I could care less about that. I care about expressing myself. And
right.
all of the songs that I release are in some way, shape, or form an expression of me.
Okay.
I've never gone out of my way to write a song. The only one time that I've ever written a song for any purpose other than that was what came out was I wrote Fearless Rider when I did some PBR gigs. I wrote a song for PBR knowing that they like the heavier kind of thing, so it's a lot heavier song than I normally would do.
Okay.
But aside from that, everything that I've ever written has just been me sitting in front of the TV, noodling around, and then something comes out that I think, oh, that's cool, and then writing from there. It's always been that.
Okay. All right. That pretty much that's good. Now, but being I guess an ex-guitar player, I haven't touched one for a long time, but I used to be a guitar player. So yeah, I'm interested in guitars and that sort of stuff still. And
yep.
What are you playing at the moment? Are you still you still got the same guitar you had last time I spoke to you, or have you...
I've got so many guitars.
Okay.
I was actually literally just talking to a friend on the phone before you called, and he said, "How many guitars do you think you've got?" And I said, "I'm scared to count, honestly, but it'd have to be well over 20. Well, probably closer to 30.
Oh no, really?
Easily. I'm just addicted to, and I've built 6 of them myself. So,
Okay, right.
You know, yeah, so I do play. I've got a guitar the first one that I built is I call it the Falcon because it's got like a it's an XP Falcon badge on it. So
Okay.
that's why I call it because I'm a Ford guy. Sorry to all the Holden listeners out there.
We won't hold it against you.
Yeah, so I'm a Ford guy. So
Okay.
I have got I've got a few guitars with Ford things on them.
Right.
And but yeah, so I use that guitar a lot. I've got a couple of tellies that I use quite a bit. Honestly, it just depends on the song and what I think will suit the song the best.
Okay.
Sometimes it might be a Les Paul. Sometimes it might be a Strat. It just depends.
Okay.
So I've got a bunch of Strats and a bunch of tellies and a bunch of Les Pauls, and
Wow.
I don't have any Gretches at the moment. I
Right.
sold them my Gretches about 15 years ago. I had 3 of them.
Good move.
Just thought, I don't really use these, so I'm just going to get rid of them. And now I just hate the fact that I sold them because they were great guitars.
They are. I've never been a real fan of Gretches, but they do have a legitimate place in a guitar player's toolkit. I think
They just have a sound that you can't get out of anything else. And when you want that sound, you need one. So
exactly. If they were good enough for Shed Atkins, they're good enough for me.
yeah, exactly. It's so many great players have used Gretches over, and they definitely went out of favour probably in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And then bands like The Living End in Melbourne came through, and Chris Chaney is a Gretsch endorsee, so a lot of people thought, oh well, that's a cool sound we can use, and obviously Malcolm Young played one all the way through AC/DC as well, so everyone knows that sound as far as a hard rock format goes, as well as obviously Chet and the guys in Nashville that were using them in the 60s and 70s. So we're getting deep into the guitar thing. I love it. I'm all about guitars.
Yeah, I know, and you're a great guitar player. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, thank you.
Now, you had at some point you had a band. You had your own band. Is that still happening?
No. So all the guys in the Brook Chivell band were from Melbourne. So,
okay, right.
So when I moved to the Gold Coast, the band kind of disbanded. I kept it together for as long as I could, but it just got to the point where it's all money dependent. So eventually, you get to the point where it's like, well, I'm missing out on gigs because I can't get the feed that I need to get my guys here. So that's kind of when that's when I went solo, I guess, just purely for that reason.
And that makes sense. I mean, getting a bunch of guys up from Melbourne, up north, that's going to cost you a few dollars,
Yeah, and to be honest, I hate that because I really did. I love being in a band.
Yeah.
And the Brook Chivell band was never supposed to be called that. I wanted it to be called something else because I knew as soon as it had my name on it, it was going to be my responsibility, and I didn't kind of want that. I just wanted it to be, everybody was an equal partner in the thing, and everybody was, as invested. And as soon as it becomes, somebody's name, all of a sudden it's, I can't make that gig because I'm going to make $12 more playing this other gig, or whatever it is. There's just not as much. People aren't as dedicated, especially life. People have lives, so we're not. I'm not 20 years old with, four or five other 20-year-olds playing in a band with no responsibilities. Everybody's got their responsibilities and needs to pay their bills. So I understand, but it's difficult.
Yeah, I get that. I know exactly where you're coming from. But look, life, that's life. You know what I mean? It's you got to make do with what you got. All right. Now we're just about out of time. We've got a couple of minutes left, but I just want to explore what's coming for you next. What do you got coming up in the way of gigs, festivals, tours, albums, whatever?
I've got some gigs. There's a few country bars in Brisbane now, and I play at those fairly regularly. So I've got gigs at, there's one called Chattahoochee's, there's another one called Dirty Harry's, which is in Toowoomba. There's another one called...
That was named after me, that one.
There's another one called Honky Tonks as well. So I play at all of those places.
Okay, all right.
I've got another single coming out at the very start of next month because I've missed the cutoff. Because life got in the way. But I released another single. I released another single after Drink Around Here. So that came out at the end of last month. The next one will come out at the start of the next month, and at the end of that month, I'll release another one because I'm trying to stick as best I can to 12 songs this year.
Okay, yeah, looking forward to it. That means there's a few more interviews coming up.
Oh, well, some of them aren't going to radio because they're just like, I'm just releasing as far as, there's some songs that are unreleased that I thought, well, they're probably not necessarily a single material, but I think that they should be out there so that, people that enjoy my music can listen to them or whatever. So
yep.
That's kind of there. But I do have probably at least 2 more radio singles to go out over the course of the year as well.
Excellent.
If not more, we'll just see how we go and how the funds pan out.
Okay, fair enough. But I'll look forward to whatever you put out there, and I'll certainly have a listen to it, and put it in the playlist, and go with it. So
awesome, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. Your section of my playlist is growing, steadily, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing because they're all great songs,
Thank you.
Because I figure if I like them, my audience likes them, and I'm not going to play stuff that no one likes. So but your stuff, no worries, ticks all the boxes. So I'm happy to play it. Okay, we're out of time. So thank you so much once again, Brook, for taking the time to have a chat with me on the radio on a Sunday afternoon. And
thank you.
I look forward to doing it again, fairly soon. Hopefully it won't be as long as last time.
Hopefully not. No, I'll definitely be releasing more songs within the next couple of months. So
all right, that's great.
I'll get back to you.
Sweet as a bun, mate. Sweet as a bun. I love it. I love your work. Okay, look, thanks again, and all the best to you. Wish you every success, and look after yourself and all the people you love, and be good.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you next time, mate.
See you later.
All right, bye, Brook.